Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hold on, let me turn my. All right. Tell me if you can hear me and see me all right. We were having some internet connectivity problems this morning, but I believe that we are all good now. Hello, Dean. Dean was in the chat. That is okay, Dean. Spend some time with your family. And we will see you, I'm sure, on Tuesday or see your name. I guess we don't really see you. Um, all right. Well, thank you, everybody, for bearing with us the past, I want to say, week or so. We've had to move some streams around. This one was supposed to be last week, but we've moved some stuff around. And we have had to move the Boba Fett show around a little bit too. I was in quarantine and then I came out and now school's canceled and it's just been I don't know, a super, super crazy time. It feels like 2020 all over again. So I hope that you can just kind of kick back and relax today and whatever situations you're going through, you can kind of just let them go for a little bit. So that is why we are here. So anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about our favorite Disney movies. Please tell us what yours are in the comments. I love to know people's opinions on everything. It makes the show more interesting when we can talk, I guess you can say. So good morning to everyone. I'm Carol is in, Will is in, Dawn should be in soon, Brian and Catherine. Hello. I'm not as good as saying hi to everybody as Will is. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to talk about our favorite Disney movies. Everyone probably knows what my favorite one is, so I've thrown in a couple extra for you. But we are going to let people get in and get settled and start with this day in Disney history. So this day in Disney history in 1989 at Super Bowl 23, quarterback Joe Montana of the San Francisco 49ers declares, "I am going to Disney World," upon his team's 20-16 win over the Bengals. That's a really close win. So Will is a 49ers fan, so I'm sure that is a day in history that he likes. So this day in 1995, a preview of the film Frank and Ollie, a documentary of the lives and careers of Disney animators Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, is screened at the Sundance Film Festival. So that's really cool. I don't know much about Frank Thomas or Ollie Johnston. I'm sure Will and Dawn could give you more information about that, but they got a little preview of the documentary that came out. And I'd be interested to know if that's on Disney Plus or not. I know there's a lot of shows that aren't on Disney Plus yet or movies, and so I would be interested to know if that is on Disney Plus. All right, in 1995, again, the second of 40 trading cards celebrating Disney's 40th anniversary are handed out to park guests. So if you were in the parks for Disneyland's 40th anniversary in 1995, they handed out trading cards to people who entered the parks, but there were only 40 of them. So that is a really, 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 really tough, I guess, accomplishment. Okay, it's on your watch list. Well, I don't is it on Disney Plus though? I'm assuming it would be. Who knows though. So, all right. Moving on to 2001, we have the Walt Disney Company relaunches the Winnie the Pooh franchise with a new television series, The Book of Pooh. So I know that y'all talked about Winnie the Pooh. It was Winnie the Pooh Day on Tuesday? I believe so. So I know you talked about Winnie the Pooh. So this is okay, it is on Disney Plus. All right, we'll put that on our watch list. I would like to watch that. Um So the television series The Book of Pooh kind of relaunched the Disney franchise for Pooh Bear, or the Pooh Bear franchise for Disney, however you want to word that. All right, 2006. This is a really good one. Will and I loved this at Disneyland. Mike and Sully to the Rescue opens at California Adventure with some celebrities in attendance for the opening. It didn't say what celebrities were there, but I can only imagine Billy Crystal and John Goodman were probably there since they're the main stars in the movie. Um, Will and I love the Mike and Sully ride at Disneyland, and I think it's because Disney World we only say that we only say that we get the help me out, Will. I'm losing it. The laugh floor. We only have the laugh floor, and I've always wanted like a ride for Mike and Sully. And here's my idea. You know, at the end of Monsters Inc., when Mike and Sully are on all the doors and they're shooting through where all the doors go, I've always wanted them to make a ride where you're like a door and you're like going through all the doors. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool, but whatever. Will, it was Super Bowl 23. 23. Because we're in like this year's Super Bowl is like in the 50s or 60s, isn't it? So, yes, Mike and Sully, super fun ride. Roz makes comments to you as you go through the ride, and Roz actually made a comment to about Will's hat that he was wearing. So it's such a fun ride. We love that ride. And I just die to go to Disneyland again as soon as possible. All right, 2008. The game plan is released on Blu-ray. So this day in 2008, that movie originally came out in 2009, and it starred Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And that little girl that's in it, I don't know her name, but that little girl that's in it, she's been in some other Disney shows and Disney movies, particularly Disney Channel stuff. So that is one of Will's favorite movies. He loves The Rock anyway, but Will loves that movie and he loves to quote, I'm a cinnamon anytime I put cinnamon in anything. So, really good movie. Super Bowl 56 is this year. Okay. I thought it was like getting into the 60s for sure. All right. So this next one is incredible to me. 2009 tickets for Disneyland's Haunted Mansion 40th anniversary event sell out in 10 minutes. Okay. Do you want to know how expensive these tickets were for this night? They were around $475 a piece. So if you had $475 to drop to go to the Haunted Mansion's 40th anniversary event at Disneyland, I want to hear all about it because that is incredible. I don't know what took place, but if you know, leave in the comments because I think that that's super cool, and I wish that they would do another event like that again. All right. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Sorry, guys. What year was that, Will? That was in 2009. So I guess just a couple years ago they celebrated the 50th of the Haunted Mansion, correct? 2019. Yeah. All right. So in 2018, Minnie Mouse finally earns a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This comes 40 years after her counterpart, Mickey Mouse. That is incredible to me. But I've also heard that celebrities pay to have their stars on that. So it was less cool when I found that out, that celebrities pay to have their name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But so Mickey and Minnie are both there, just 40 years apart. All right, moving on. In 2019, Disney Parks announces the 8th themed land based on the movie Zootopia will be coming to Shanghai Disneyland Park. Does anyone know if that actually happened or not? Anybody? Because I love Zootopia, but I've never seen pictures of this Zootopia themed land. And if you want my opinion, I think that there should be a Zootopia section at Animal Kingdom, but I've heard that this is what I've heard. So I've heard that the reason that they aren't doing that is because Zootopia is a animal portrayed version of the human world, but Animal Kingdom is supposed to be a human version of the animal world. So they contradict each other. But I would love to see a Zootopia themed anything at Animal Kingdom. It would be better than dinosaur because I don't even know what that doesn't even fit anywhere if you want my opinion. And I would love to see them retheme the dinosaur ride. I think it would be super easy because they have that track vehicle at Disneyland. So I think it would be super easy for them to do that. I just wish that they would. Sorry, guys. Will wanted me to close the blinds and I didn't. So now I'm getting jolted with the sun. All right. 2021. Sadly, this is sad for all of us 90s kids. The Radio Disney app and website were shut down, but the radio station is still played on iHeartRadio. But I think for iHeartRadio, you have to have a subscription for that. So I'm pretty sure you have to pay to listen to all those things for the iHeartRadio. But I used to jam real hard in the car with my mom and dad to some Radio Disney in the 90s. That was definitely where it was at. So, moving on, I like to do fun fact of the day, fun Disney fact of the day. So today, a ticket to Walt Disney World will run you anywhere from $102 to $109 a day based on which park you're going to on what day and if you are doing park hoppers or not. So that's $102 to $109 a day. I'm sure in about 5 minutes that price will jack up again. But an opening day ticket was $3.50 to enter the park on opening day. So you think, oh, well, currency changes over the years, and it does. But today, that is only about $21 to $25. So you're welcome for letting you think about how much it costs to get into Disney. And I'm sure in a couple weeks, couple months time, those prices will just continue to rise like everything else. Prices rise. That just happens. Okay, Will, the last thing I remember about Zootopia Land in Shanghai was that they showed an animatronic of the yak character from the movie. I'm not sure if it opened yet either. I haven't heard anything about it, but I think 2009 is when they announced that. 2020 we got shut down into 2021. So I can only imagine that they probably haven't opened it yet, if they've even started building it yet. So that would be something I'd like to look into. I love Zootopia. So, all right, moving on to my top 5 animated movies of all time, pretty much. And it was hard to come up with just 5. I've thrown in some newer movies too, and some live action movies, because I know everyone knows what my favorite movie is. So it's a spoiler alert if you know me and you watch. But I'm going to start with number 1, work my way down to number 5, and then I'm going to talk about some live action movies, and then I'm going to talk about some new movies that have just been released. One of them's still in theaters, but you can watch it on Disney Plus, so I don't really know why you'd go to the theater to watch it. But what I'm gonna do is because I didn't listen to Will and now I'm getting blasted with sun rays, I'm gonna go close that window really fast. Okay, that's better. Sorry, friends. I should have listened to Will. Yeah, I just said I should have listened to Will. A woman admitted she was wrong and it was on live. So, um, all right. So, number one movie, I'm sure you all know my number one top favorite movie, animated movie, is Pocahontas. It always has been, even to this day, still my favorite. So I learned a little bit about Pocahontas, though, diving into some fun facts about it, though. Some things I guess I didn't know or didn't like realize. So, Pocahontas is an animated musical historical drama that features the life of Powhatan and a woman named Pocahontas during the time of the English colonial settlers from Virginia Company that arrived into now what is America. So, obviously, Pocahontas is a real person. She was not as pretty as Disney would have you believe. John Smith was a real person, but not in the way that they portray him in the movie. Um, so you get loosely based on history, and I realize that their portrayal of it is not exactly accurate. The second Pocahontas movie is a little bit more accurate when it comes to the actual history of what happened. Um, but the animation was released on June 10th, 1995. And it was the 33rd Disney animated feature and the sixth film produced during what was called the Disney Renaissance period. So I had no idea Disney movies were broken down into periods and like I guess time periods. It's Will, what song are you singing? Will knows best. Listen to your husband. It's a oh, okay. That's very funny, Will. Very funny. Um, okay. You can walk to the movie later. Um okay, so this movie was actually highly praised for the animation, the voice performers, and the music, but was highly criticized for the tone of the story, which I can only imagine has to do with something called like a little something called savages, barely even human. I can only imagine that's the tone that they were talking about. Um, I honestly though, I've watched that movie since it came out. Like I was 4 years old when this movie came out, and it's always been one of my favorites. Um, I I get that it has some negative tones, I guess. Yeah, it was. It was super successful, Will. The 80s to 90s was super successful for Disney animation, and I wish that that's the part we could go back to. Um, but this movie to me, I've always loved the Native American culture and history too, and I'll get to that a little bit later about why I like this movie so much, and it's always jumped out to me. But this film earned $346 million in the box office, received 2 Academy Awards, and Best Original Song for Colors of the Wind, which actually, Colors of the Wind was number 4 for years and years and years and made tons and tons of money until Encanto came along. And Encanto, that soundtrack has now bumped tons of Disney songs out of the water, like literally. And I'll get to that too at the end of the show. But so Irene Bedard is the voice of Pocahontas. But Judy Quinn is the singing voice. And I think that's how you say it, Quinn. It's Quhn. To me, that's Quinn. But Judy does a great singing voice for Pocahontas, but I also think they did a really good job of matching the speaking part to the singing voice. And they've done that with several movies. A lot of times they get a different actor to do, or a different voice actor to do the singing part. But I think that they did an amazing job matching the voices. Mel Gibson is John Smith, and Linda Hunt is Grandmother Willow. And then Alan Menken is the musical creator. And we all know Alan Menken is a Disney genius when it comes to all of the stuff he's done in the Disney world with soundtracks and these theme songs and everything that he's done. It's just incredible. So he was kind of behind a lot of the music for this movie. So this movie has always jumped out to me. First of all, it is very, very, very beautiful in the animation style. Um, and I love how, when we use our phones and we take portrait mode to where whatever is in front is the main thing in the picture, and everything else in the background is kind of fizzled out a little bit. That's what I feel like they did with this movie. And hear me out. I know that sounds really weird, but you see Pocahontas um, when she's in the trees or when she's on the mountaintop, you kind of see her as the main focal point of the movie. But in the background, you see the trees, and the trees are so aesthetically pleasing to your eyes because they really, really, really use the light pinks and the teals and the turquoise and some orange, and they don't they don't animate the trees as if you just looked outside and saw a dead tree in your yard. And I think that's what is so beautiful about this movie, is that they really capture the Native American culture by the colors that they use. Turquoise and teals are very popular colors among the Native American culture, and you see that in the movie. Even when you look, the part, if you've seen Pocahontas, there's a part in the very beginning of the movie when she's running to the cliff. Even in the background of the other mountains and cliffs in the scene, there is a teal undertone that the animators have used. And I've always been fascinated by the colors that they use, I guess I should say. I love, love, love the animation. And I love to look at Pocahontas's hair. And I know that sounds so crazy, but the way that they designed her hair, obviously this was 1995. Times have changed now where they can animate every single tiny little strand of hair. But back then, her hair is perfectly straight, but it comes to a point at the end. And I have always thought that that is an amazing animation style that they used for her hair. I've always loved it and how it just flows together. I love it. So I also love the whole story. We see a woman who is obviously the chief's daughter. So yes, she is technically a princess. Um, and we see that her father really wants her to marry someone, and she's like, that's not my path. That's not my vision. That's not where the arrow is pointing me. And I've always thought that that was different too for Disney. If you look at, Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and Cinderella and all these other things, we have women that really, really just want to get married and they see their prince. But Pocahontas is like, what is my path in life? She's always looking to Grandmother Willow, who is kind of her inspiration and her I guess mentor, I guess you could say. She doesn't have her mother, so she looks to Grandmother Willow for that talk. The Disney Renaissance was the period from 1989 to 1999. Yeah, glad we were born. What Why is it called the Renaissance period, Will? I should have looked that up. Um, but I've always loved Pocahontas. I really have. I don't know, I think she's just a beautiful character, and I don't even mind the second Pocahontas. I really don't. It's called Journey to a New World, where Pocahontas comes to America instead. And that is when she meets the other John Smith. So there's two John Smiths. And that's where she meets the other John Smith, who is more closely related to how the real story went in real life. The soundtrack cannot be beat. Um, you have Colors of the Wind, which is, in my opinion, that's why we're here, opinions, is one of the most beautiful Disney ballads. It's very, very much about two worlds coming together, seeing the different side of things. Pocahontas sees John Smith as a savage, kind of, but John Smith and the white people see her and her community as savage because they live in teepees. They don't take use of those new developments that have come. Now we're not talking about like computers or anything, but even back then we were seeing, newer developments arise. And even today, those people who still live on Indian reservations, they're very spiritual and they're very earthy. They like that. So that's what's always stuck out to me. We kind of see her journey through picking who she wants to be with, even though it was probably frowned upon. And I just love it. It's one of the movies, even in college, like when, I don't know why, but in college when I got homesick or something, that was a movie I played. I just always really liked it. And I know Will has his certain movies that he just clings to. So, all right, the Disney Renaissance was the period from 1989 to 1999, during which the Walt Disney feature animation returned to producing critically and commercially successful animated films that were mostly musical adaptations of well-known stories, much as the studio did during the era of Walt Disney during the 1930s to 1960s. Okay, there you go. Thanks, Will. Glad I have you. But yes, again, number one favorite, Pocahontas for sure. And I know a lot of you probably haven't seen it, especially kids that were born in recent years. But it is on Disney Plus, and I highly recommend watching it and really taking in all of the beauty of it. Everything about it is beautiful to me. I really like the story. Um, so it's hard to get off that power trip that I'm on now, but moving on to my second favorite, and this is funny, but Toy Story 2. I do. I love all the Toy Story movies. Well, kind of. I really love Toy Story. Fourth one was kind of a flop for me, but sorry, my son is now at the door. But Toy Story 2 is my second favorite, and this is why. I'll get to why in a minute. But Toy Story 2 is a 1999 computer animated film directed by John Lasseter and produced by Pixar. This movie opened on November 24th in 1999. It grossed a little over 497 million in the box office. This movie is considered by critics to be one of the only sequels that is better than the first. I agree. I 100% agree with critics. I think that the first one is fantastic, but I do think the second one, I really do think it's a little bit better. I do. This movie stars Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as Buzz and Woody. Everyone knows I love Tim Allen. I am a huge Tim Allen fan. I think I've seen a lot of Tom Hanks's movies, and I do think they're funny. I think he's a great voice actor, though, and I think it is awesome how Tom Hanks and Tim Allen can do both. They're comedians, they're actors, they're voice actors, and I think that's really cool how they can switch that on and off and do both. Um, Joan Cusack, Kelsey Grammer, Don Rickles, Jim Varney, Wallace, Shawn, and John Ratzenberger, Annie Potts, Estelle Harris, and many, many more are in Toy Story 2. So I love this movie because the first Toy Story, we are getting to know the characters. We're getting to know Andy. We're getting to know his mom, his sister, his, I guess, his toys, all of his toys. But the second one to me is amazing because we already kind of know these characters getting into the second one. Now, obviously, we continue to learn things about the toys as the movies progress. Um, but this movie, Buzz and Woody are friends. They've gotten over their whatever it is, their jealousy or whatever it was. And we see that I love this guy. I have a Toy Story 2 Al's Toy Barn coffee mug. We see that this character named Al, who owns a toy store called Al's Toy Barn, kind of comes into the picture here, and he wants Woody to sell him to a museum. And we really see Woody, I guess, go back and forth with, no, I'm Andy's toy, but Andy's not going to play with me forever. So I'm going to go to this museum. To the last minute, we see him. Wait, what am I doing? Like, Andy is still a kid. He still has time to play with me, and I'll be there for him. And so then he rescues, I want to say he rescues um, Jesse and Bullseye from Stinky Pete. I think this one is interesting too because we see how Woody had his own show that featured Bullseye and Jesse and Stinky Pete, the prospector, in the show. And so I find that really interesting how they carry on his story a little bit more. And then that's when we see Woody really, oh, wait, I am a special toy. Like, I belong in a museum. Um, and to me, Woody has always been an interesting character because he's always tried to get Buzz to be there for Andy or Bonnie, whoever it was, but we kind of see him flop around a lot. So I've always found his character really fascinating, how we get the wishy-washiness of him, but Buzz has been stable all four of them. So I do find that interesting. I love all of the characters in Toy Story. I love the sassiness that we get from Mr. Potato Head and Ham. They're both really sassy, but in different ways. I love how Bo Peep brings the love kind of in it, and I love to see all the characters together. I just think it's funny, and it's a movie that I think kids really cling to because of the toy aspect. And I think it's funny because of what I do for a living. I'm around kids. I've been around kids for the past 10 years. And Will Will asked me once when we were watching Toy Story 3, he said in the preschool, and they're in the preschool and they're throwing around. Will said, "Do kids really do that?" And I was like, honestly, they did such an amazing job portraying the little room from the bigger room. I said, yes, kids do that. And now that we have our own kid and we watch him do things and play, and he loves Toy Story, I think it has an even cooler meaning to me to watch him watch this movie as well. So Toy Story 2, second favorite. Again, I do like all of them. Really, not really the fourth one. I'm not a huge Toy Story 4 fan, but Wyatt really likes it, and I think that that's what matters is that the kids like what's being produced. Okay, number 3, and number 3, Mulan, the animated version. I haven't even seen the live action and I don't even want to. But Mulan was released on June 19th, 1998 and brought in 304 million from box office sales. This is loosely based on the Chinese legend of Hua Mulan, who was Disney's 36th animated feature and the 9th film produced during the Disney Renaissance period. To portray the Chinese culture accurately, Disney actually sent a number of artists and supervisors to China in order to receive artistic and cultural inspiration for the movie. This film earned a Golden Globe, an Academy Award, and several Annie Awards. And there's now a live action adaptation that was released in 2020. Again, not gonna watch the live action. So my brother really likes. I'm going somewhere with this. My brother really likes Disney movies that I feel like no one likes, like WALL-E. Like who likes WALL-E? Okay, my brother loves WALL-E. He likes very weird movies. That being said, he turned on the live action Mulan and he said within 5 minutes he turned it off because it was so bad. He was like, I literally couldn't even use it as background noise. It was that bad. And so for me, my brother who will literally watch anything, if he turned it off, I don't want to watch it. So, with that being said, back to the real Mulan, the only Mulan that counts to me. We have Eddie Murphy as Mushu, Ming Na Wen as Mulan, BD Wong as Captain Shang, and the singing voice of Shang is Donny Osmond. So Will has been to China. You're right. So the animators nailed the artistic style in Mulan. I agree. I haven't been to China, but seeing pictures of the Great Wall and stuff, I really think that they nailed it. And so along with the animation style, though, we see Pocahontas has an animation style geared towards that particular movie. Well, I think Mulan does too. Mulan's animation style, they stuck to the oriental feel of China. Even the smoke that's in the movie that is animated, to me, is gorgeous. I think they did such a good job. I think that they nailed it. Again, I haven't been to China, but I can only imagine they did a great job. I am so sorry. I literally got like 4 hours of sleep last night because my son has decided he's going to come into our bedroom and he headbutted me all throughout the night and kicked me, and it's great. But along this movie is comedy at its finest to me, and not just Eddie Murphy, but the one who plays the grandmother. I think she's hilarious. And the best thing that she said was literally, she said at the very end of the movie, they asked Shang to stay for dinner. And then she says, would you like to stay forever? And she is hilarious. She really thinks that this cricket is lucky. Everything about it is hilarious. It's my favorite. So again, I don't think this would ever happen in real life, obviously, but Mulan has dishonored her family at the beginning pretty much by going to the matchmaker, and it didn't go well. And then she was like, "You will never bring honor to our family," or, and that is a very culturally appropriate adaptation of Chinese culture. The women are there to be, I mean, they are to bring honor. That is why they are there. The men really do. They are the head of the house. And so for Mulan to not bring honor, she kind of, when she hears that her father, who obviously can't walk very well and is getting older and has, he drinks tea for medication and stuff like that, she decides, I'm going to go in his place. And I just, we see the mood go up and down. Um, and then when she gets there, she realizes, I didn't pick a name for myself. I don't know how to be a boy. I don't really fit in, and everyone thinks that she's crazy. Um, and I like the I like the progression of everything. How she's the one who was told, to leave. You're no good at this either. And she decides, I'm going to climb up on that pole and get that arrow. And so we really see how she was, I guess, hurt by the fact that she did bring dishonor on her family. And so this is her way to redeem herself. Um, Good morning, Francisco. And so I think I think all of the voice actors are super good. Um, I had no idea that she was in Agent of Shield, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. That's really cool. I think she has a great voice. I really do. It's very sweet and kind of timid, if that makes sense. But I love her voice. She's great. And then Donny Osmond as the singing voice of Shang is amazing. And then Will knows how much I love BD Wong. BD Wong is actually he plays, oh, what's his actual title? He's in Law and Order Special Victims Unit in the earlier seasons. I think like season 2 through 5, 6, 7-ish. And he plays like a psychologist for the police department for the Special Victims Unit. And so his job is kind of to talk to the criminals and figure out, like why they did what they did. So I guess he's like a criminal psychologist per se. So BD Wong, I love BD Wong. And I think he's a great voice actor too. So that is how I feel about Mulan. I love Mulan. Always have. Okay, she's a bounty hunter named Finnick Shond. I probably butchered that name. All right, and obviously, who doesn't like Eddie Murphy? So number 4, I guess. Hi, Wyatt. Number 4 was on Dawn's list as well. Number 4, my 4th favorite movie is Zootopia. This is a computer animated film that was released on March 4th, 2016 in America. It was first released. Ooh, I forgot. It was released in another country a month before it was released here, and I forgot what country. Ooh, I forgot. I should have written it down. But it was released in America March 4th, 2016. It brought a little bit more than $1 billion in box office sales, making it the 4th highest grossing film in 2016. Jennifer Goodwin plays Judy Hopps, who Jennifer Goodwin is also Snow White in Once Upon a Time. Jason Bateman plays Nick Wilde. Idris Elba as Chief Bogo. Bonnie Hunt as Judy's mom, who Bonnie Hunt is in a lot of Disney movies. So go look. I know one, she's in Cars. For sure. So Bonnie Hunt is in a lot of Disney movies, and you don't realize it until you look her up on IMDb. Tommy Chong as Yax and Shakira as Gazelle. Okay, so Zootopia, I think, is one of the cutest movies I have ever seen, and it ranks number 4 because I love the story. Um, and Will and I see this story a little bit differently because Will did grow up in the country. Um, so if he was in this movie, he would be the bunny. Um, and I think that he sees it a little bit differently because of the way that they portray these animals. They portray country folks as dumb bunnies and stuff like that, and they really use the phrases that humans use, like sly fox and stuff. But I obviously grew up in the Dallas area, so not really in the country at all. I have family members that are from the country. Um, and I would visit, East Texas a lot. But um I honestly see it a little bit differently than Will does, and I think that's okay. I think how we take in this movie um is okay. And I so but Will, your mom loves Zootopia, and she was obviously raised in the country and in the mountains of Tennessee. So I think that when I look at this story, um, to me, the whole meaning of the story is um about, I guess, not proving people wrong, but doing what you want to do no matter who you are. Judy was told, you can't be a police officer. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You're just a dumb bunny. And even when she becomes a police officer, they put her as a meter maid, and she's always trying to prove herself. Um, and to me, that's the message I get out of it. She even sees the best in Nick Wilde, even though she's told her whole life foxes are sly. And she even catches him doing something sly, and she still wants to work with him in her case. She still wants his help. And I think that that is the true meaning of this movie. Judy doesn't listen to the haters. And that's what Zootopia is. That's what Gazelle even says. It's for everyone of different species to kind of come together and work together and live together and live in harmony with each other, even though everyone is different. And that is the true meaning that I get out of this. We see the humor. Tommy Chong, I would say it's a nudist colony. They don't call it that, but we see all of that. Um, so we get the humor, we get the ups and the downs of how she feels. Um, I, that's true, Will. It's about your stereotypes and not judging a book by its cover, which I think is a super important lesson that we can learn. Um, we make actually, Will made a joke the other day about something with, yeah, lots of tattoos, and I was like I have a tattoo and I don't do that. And so I think it's funny with our stereotypes that we have about people who have, whatever that they may have. Yes, a naturalist colony, that's it. Because we can't tell kids it's a nudist colony. um but I really love this movie, and actually I'm taking a class right now about stereotypes, because I don't know if everyone knows, but I went back to school to get a degree in criminal justice. And so I'm actually taking a class about the stereotypes in criminal justice and how it's hard for some people to overcome their stereotypes. But maybe that's why I like this movie so much. It's about stereotypes and a police officer. Who knows? I will tell you, the part in this movie, Will knows this is coming. The part in this movie that literally is like nails on a chalkboard to me, like I can't stand it, is the sloths. Um, and not that I don't think it's a funny adaptation of the DMV, because that totally is. But when they talk, I'm like, ah! I'm like, get it out. It's like, it literally is like nails on a chalkboard to me, especially like umpteenth time you've seen it. But yes, this is, yeah, some mammals say the naturalist life is weird, but you know what I say is weird? Clothes on animals. Um, Wyatt loves this movie. He calls it the Bunny Hops movie. He loves the Try Everything song by Shakira. So to me, it's just an all around good movie. I think it's a really good, feel good movie. And so that is my fourth. So my fifth movie may surprise a lot of you. And honestly, I have a lot of other favorite movies, but for the purpose of this show, this is my fifth favorite movie. I would say Princess and the Frog and Tangled also ties with this one, but this one I really wanted to talk about for this movie because I feel like it gets no love. And we actually watched it last night. Number 5 is Emperor's New Groove. I love Emperor's New Groove. It was released as an animated comedy in 2000. It was the 40th movie produced by the Walt Disney Pictures. And this film is set in the Incan Empire and follows the self-centered Emperor Cusco. This movie was originally supposed to be a musical called Kingdom of the Sun when development started in 1994. And then it obviously changed. This movie was a huge disappointment in the box office. It only brought in $169 million and it had a budget of $100 million. So it really didn't bring in that much more than they put in on it. However, this is the funny part to me. However, when it was released on DVD in 2001, it became the best-selling DVD of that year. It was praised by critics as one of the funniest movies of its time with an amazing voice cast. It soon became so popular it received a sequel in 2005 called Kronk's New Groove and a spin-off show on Disney Channel called Emperor's New School. So, it's funny how things don't do very well in theaters and then they become like cult classics. And I would say Hocus Pocus is a great example of a total flop, but now it's like super popular. So in this movie, David Spade plays Cusco, who's the emperor. He's about to turn 16. He's obviously super self-centered. He needs to be put in his place. He is all about himself. He doesn't care who he hurts to get what he wants. And so then we have John Goodman as Pacha, who is a family man. He's lived in the same house they allude for years because even he has been measured in that house growing up that he is now raising his kids in. And he is we see he's so humble that he doesn't even want to upset his wife and tell his wife about Cusco's plan to build his Cuscotopia on top of the mountain. And even though the emperor is rude to him, when Emperor Cusco gets turned into a llama, Pacha does everything in his power to get him back and try to turn him back. So this movie is just funny to me. I just love everything about it. I love, like Will said, boom, baby. I love all of the funny quotes. And then, even like we can put that box in a box, and then we can put the box in the box, and then we can put the box in the box in the box, and then we can deliver it, and then we can open it, and we can smash him with a hammer. Yzma's disgusting looking, and I think it's so funny. And Kronk is obviously, he works with Yzma, and he is kind of portrayed as the dumb guy who is just real buff and dumb and doesn't really know much. But this movie's funny. I love it. It's a super funny It's a super funny like movie to watch in the background when you're doing dishes, or it's a funny family movie. Um, and again, we watched it last night. I love Yeah, Kronk's hilarious. I just love everything about this movie. It's super funny. It's a really good movie to watch just because. And I don't think it gets a lot of love. Now, if you look on Shop Disney, there are a lot of products for this that have just recently come out. So, yeah, pull the lever, Kronk. Um, I think this is another like vision that I have in my head for this movie too, is to make a ride like where Yzma and Kronk go to their secret lab where they pull the lever and then they go. That could be another super cool ride. Um, but that's just in my head. Maybe I should go work for Disney. All right. So that the fifth one kind of does. I love Tangled and I love Princess and the Frog. And it's hard to choose my favorite, but for the purpose of this show, I really wanted to bring up The Emperor's New Groove because I feel like it does not disappoint. It's super good. I love that movie. David Spade and John Goodman are hilarious in it, and I think that they are really, really good voice actors. Again, and David Spade is one of those that you see a lot in Adam Sandler movies. And so I really think it's cool how he can turn it on and off and be both. Um, Now I've gone pretty long, but I wanted to mention live action movies that were done so well. Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella. We absolutely love both of these movies. They're both on Disney Plus now. Beauty and the Beast was on Hulu. Or not Hulu, sorry, Netflix. It finished its run with Netflix and it's been on Disney Plus, I want to say 6 months to a year now. But Cinderella, out of the two, Cinderella is my second favorite. But Beauty and the Beast has to be one of my favorite live action movies that they have done. The the characters, the actors that they got are phenomenal. Um, Absolutely phenomenal. And I didn't really have much hopes for Emma Watson. It's Emma Watson, right? I always get her name. There's so many Emmas. I always want to call her Emma Thompson. I know that's not right. Emma Watson. I didn't have any hope for her to be good in this movie, and she proved me wrong. Whether or not she's really singing, I don't even care because she was amazing. Um, they did such a phenomenal job with Josh Gad as LeFou. I think that was meant for him. Um, they did an amazing job with the songs, recreating them and even adding some new ones in. Now, I may be the only one who thinks this. Dawn, you may have a different opinion about this. But I I get that in the animated Beauty and the Beast, they really, really focus on Belle's dad and how goofy he is. Now, in the live action, I don't think he's very goofy. I think, yes, he is still a creator, but go into they didn't really dive deep into the goofy aspect of him. Now, I do admit with the overall design and theme of the live action, I don't know how they could have made him goofy without ruining the movie, but I also would have liked to see a little bit more of that goofiness from him in the live action. The only problem I have with this is that the library that she goes to in the town is super disappointing to me. I wish it looked better. So, Will, that's what I was saying with Emma Watson. And I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan, but it was hard for me to separate her character as Hermione to Belle because I think they're just so different, but alike in the same way. It was really hard for me to separate the two. And then Cinderella, beautifully done. They kept to the true meaning of the story. The costume design was A plus 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 plus. And I loved Cinderella. I thought it was gorgeous. It actually, like, it gives you all the feels. It's one of the best live actions they've done. I still think Beauty and the Beast is a little bit better. But yes, Cinderella is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And a little, I guess people know this, but the slippers that she wore in live action Cinderella were actually made of Swarovski crystal. So they were real. And I think that makes it that much better that is what she wore those in the movie. And her tiny, tiny little waist. Oh, I just want that tiny, tiny little waist. I think that movie was beautifully done. Every part of it. And so live action movies, those are it for me. I really enjoy both of those. Now, talking about new releases. And Dawn, I'm going to tell you, drop what you're doing today. Go watch the full Encanto. And honestly, I would say this. I don't like subtitles, but Will uses the subtitles to watch the Mandalorian and Boba Fett show. Watch Encanto with the subtitles on. And this is why. I obviously don't speak Spanish, so some of the things that they say, I don't really know what they're saying. And when I kept the subtitles on during Encanto, I was like, wow. Like the words really struck a high note with me, and it made sense. So Encanto has the "We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no." That song has now topped the charts. It's broken records. It has done amazing things. And it has now kicked out Let It Go on the top charts. And I think it even has done it with Colors of the Wind. It has just boom, 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 boom. It's now, I don't think the Bruno song is the best song in the movie, but the first time I watched Encanto, I will admit, I was like, yeah, I mean, that was cute. Maribel is cute. I love Cousin Dolores. She is adorable with her little squeaks and her big eyes. I just think she's so cute. It took me a couple times to watch the movie and with subtitles on, and it made a difference to me. It's such a great movie. It's very solid. It is. The music is fantastic. It actually has made me get up and dance several times. I think the characters are amazing. And here's what strikes it with me. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the family magical has magic. The house is enchanted. The house even has magic. Casita has magic. And Maribel does not. And Maribel lives her whole life questioning why she didn't get a gift. And she questions, why am I here with all of my family who has these amazing gifts? Even my house has a gift, you know? And then we see a lot of the songs like Under Pressure, where we really dive in to how these characters feel about their gifts and how, yes, I'm the strong one, but I'm under pressure. People put all the pressure on the strong one. They come to me for everything. They come to me for their problems. They want me to move things for them. They want me to do this, 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 and this. And she's gonna, like, her sister Luisa is gonna break under this pressure. And that's what one of the songs is about. And it really, and then her other sister is the perfect golden child. She does no wrong. She makes beautiful, gorgeous flowers. And then she realizes, I made a cactus. And guess what? It's pokey. It's not symmetrical, but it's still beautiful. And so I think her Maribel not having a gift is her gift. She allows her family to realize that being perfect and brave and smart and gorgeous and the strong one and able to heal people and able to see the weather and change the weather isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And in the end, it's Maribel who really, really saves her family, even though she doesn't have a gift. And I will bear with me because Will is like, this song again. The song Dos Hogaritas is two caterpillars. And this song is gorgeous. The song is in Spanish in the movie, but during the end credits they play it in English, and it's honestly about letting go of the past, growing from it, moving forward, starting off as a caterpillar but growing into a beautiful butterfly. I honestly would say it's right up there with Colors of the Wind. Will may not believe me with that, but it's a gorgeous song, and it's a beautiful movie, and I really, really recommend, if you haven't watched it, watch it more than once. And again, watch it with subtitles. And I know that sounds crazy, but do it unless you speak Spanish. But it's an amazing movie, and I think that they have done some awesome, awesome merchandise with the movie on Shop Disney. If I had a girl, I would totally, totally buy her Maribel's outfit because I think Maribel is so cute. But I really highly recommend watching it. Wyatt loves it. Wyatt loves Encanto. He asks to watch Encanto, and he just loves it. So, and what does he say? He says, we don't talk about Uno. He calls Bruno Uno. So, whatever you're doing today, make sure to watch that. Honestly, it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It is still in theaters if you like going to the theater to see it, but it's also free on Disney Plus. So I highly recommend watching it for sure. It's so cute, really good. We've also been enjoying Luca and Onward lately. Wyatt has really come to like Onward. And it's funny because he calls it Onward like he's British. He says, "Mommy, Daddy, I want to watch Onward." So he's really enjoyed all of those new movies that are out. So take some time today and make sure to go and watch something new. Yes, my Cincy link is right there. Thanks for posting that. There's actually some Mandalorian stuff on there. There are Mickey and Minnie Scentsy warmers that are on there. And they're getting rid of a lot of stuff. So I would go and look to see what they're getting rid of, because once they put some of these things in the vault, they don't come back out. So there are a lot of things that are going into the vault. So I would go check that out. Thanks for stopping in today, whether you just had us on, whether your team replay, however you watch us. Thank you so much for being here. We have a different Saturday crowd sometimes than our normal Tuesday crowd. So it's super nice to get to talk to you guys. I'm glad that you stuck with me for the long haul today. But again, go ahead and check us out on Instagram. My Cincy page is right here. And then we are also on Facebook and Twitter. And of course, we're on YouTube. If you have not already, make sure to give us a like on this video. Go check out some of our other videos. If you've watched Boba Fett, Will and his mom have gone live a couple times for that. We will be back with Brewing with the Bones in a couple of weeks. I believe a couple weeks. And I will be talking about how to budget for your upcoming Disney trip, because we've heard a lot of stuff about prices increasing and stuff like that. So not that I'm, a budget wizard, but I will be giving you some of my insight. Please make sure to go check out some of our sister channels like Monarch Moment, Diz Our Dream, and then make sure that if you are planning a vacation, to reach out to Jennifer Turner with Mickey's Travels. She did not pay me to say that or anything. We've just used her several times, and she's incredible. Even if you're just thinking about taking a trip, reach out to Jennifer Turner of Mickey's Travels, and she can give you a free quote. It's completely free to you. We've loved using her, so make sure that you check her out too. Like I said, have a great Saturday. I'm enjoying my coffee. Will and I are about to go, I know, super early in the morning, but we are going to go see Spider-Man No Way Home today. Will's already seen it. I have not. So we are going to go see that today at 11. So, again, I guess that's it. Thank you for checking us out today. Make sure to like this video, hit the bell so you know when we go live. And as always, hurry back. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for Team Replay, too.